Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Unstoppable Show, and I am Jennifer Hardy. I am joined today with the beautiful Menellia Valcent. How are you doing, Menellia?
I am good. Good morning. How are you?
I am really good. Where are you in the world just now?
I'm in Saint Lucia, which is a very tiny island in the Caribbean Sea. So it's very hot right now.
Oh, I must say, I'm a little bit jealous. I am in Scotland at the moment, and it is very cold. It's wonderful that the global, beautiful internet lets us have chats like this, even though we're in different sides of the world. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes,
It is
yes,
so.
very, very amazing. I love connecting with other people.
I love it. So, tell me a little bit about your business, please. What is it that you do?
So I am a lifestyle and business success coach, and I've been doing it for about a year and a half thereabouts. And I work specifically with corporate women as well as new coaches. And what I do is that I know that when you're building a business or when you're going after your goals, it can be very overwhelming. It can be very stressful, especially when you're not getting any momentum. So my role is basically to help them like really break down first, like disintegrate everything because most times we literally try to pile up, new things on top of old things. So my role is to help them uncover all the old things first, release that, and then create a much, much more clarified and confident and more directional path in order to move forward with their goals for business or career or personal life. And I love including the slowing down portion because, we're always going, going, going. But from my personal experience, as well as from my working with my own coach, I found so much more results when I allowed myself to take a step back once in a while, or at least majority of the time. So I incorporate that into there as well. So really embodying being present whilst they're growing and whilst they're going after the goals. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I could hear you now.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I was just going to ask, you've been doing this for a year now. So
Mhm.
what did you do before this, and what made you decide that you were going to switch over to what you're doing now?
So I started off as a lifestyle blogger. I think for 10 years thereabout, I have been a blogger. So initially, I was doing a lot of angry blogging, if that makes sense. I wasn't very vocal or expressive. So I used my blog as a journal to like let go of like negative energy and anger and all those different fears. And what I found was that people started to reach out to me to ask me, for advice. And I said, you know what? I decided, or I discovered for that matter, that you could actually utilize that as a skill to make money, to bring income in. So I started to learn more about it. And then I did a lot of affiliates, a lot of sponsored blog posts, a lot of workshops. And then as I was going through a program with a coach, she was telling us, so she was sharing with us how you can utilize your own skill to build like freelancing or coaching or publishing. And I'm like, well, navigating through the path she was describing, I noticed that my skill set and my passion led towards the coach. So persons started to ask me, can I like ask for advice? And as time progressed, I started to learn more about it, and I held a lot of live workshops in St. Lucia, in my home country.
Mhm.
And then now I'm working with global women.
Amazing, wonderful. And
Yeah.
take me right back to even before that. So when you were growing up, did you have a lot of influence around you to be like your own businesswoman, to be an entrepreneur, or were you really the first in your family to take this road?
I grew up in a farming family, so I never had let's see, like a desire to be an entrepreneur. I
Yeah.
saw my mother starting businesses, etc., but I was not really aware of like what it meant at the time. Um, that was always surrounded with hardworking persons who always went after their goals. And it was only when I was in my early 20s that I realized that, you know what, oh, like I could do so much more than just the go to school, get a job, etc. So my desires started to change really when I was in my early 20s. And also my personal experience, like I went through like a quarter life crisis from that space. I started to expand my horizon and open up my maturity of thought so much more.
Oh, incredible. Amazing. So the women that you work with now
Yeah.
then, when do they normally come to you? What stage of their journey are they at? And what is the kind of biggest transformations that you help them achieve?
Okay, so for the first year, I worked with a lot of corporate women, and there most of them are usually within their 25 to the 30 age bracket. So in that time, in that space, they know that they want to move forward in their life, but they're not sure how because they've always been told, you have to do things a certain way. So most of the time they're coming to me, they know that they have a bigger desire, but they're not sure how to put that in words.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest transformation that I help them get through is, reframing their mindset, letting go of the stories that they have been told forever. Like, we've been told so many things and it becomes ingrained in us. So the biggest transformation that they get is number one, reprogramming everything that they've been taught, reprogramming their mindset, their approach to their goals. And secondly, really allowing themselves to say, you know what, yes, I am worthy of this. I desire that. And I don't have to be ashamed of it. I don't have to be afraid of it. I don't have to make it seem like it's so out of reach for me, which is one of the things that I find a lot, even though they're in a corporate job or in the business, I experience or I receive, for that matter, a lot of women who are, they don't feel worthy of their goals at all.
Yeah.
And after we work together, they feel so much more clarified, they feel so much more empowered. And I help them literally create the roadmap to take the next step. So they reframe the mindset and they get a roadmap to follow to move forward.
Oh, incredible. I think I need you.
Yeah.
I love roadmaps to success. They're the best. It's
Yes.
consistent to do. As long as you can put all these pieces of the puzzle together, then you're good. I love that. So there's something that I want to ask you because I know that you were talking about obviously you were a blogger for such a long time and then you changed over to doing what you're doing now. So I don't think we really went into too much detail there, and I would love to kind of dig in a little bit of, when did you actually know then that it was time to take action or continue to be kind of stuck in that place? Was there one defining moment?
Yes. So it actually happened in Paris. And I shared this story on Frank Global. And I was always someone who was like, I never expressed myself. Like I held a lot of things down. I was the nice girl. I was a people pleaser. I always wanted to be on the good side of everybody. So I never like expressed what I actually felt. So I went to Paris in 2014. And that was like 2 years after my journey from like the rebuilding my life because it was very ugly. Like it disintegrated to a point where I was so stressed out. Like my hair was literally falling out. And I knew that, you know what, you have to do something. Like you have to change it. If you continue on that path, you are going to be in a very, very dangerous space. So I started to like let go of a lot of negativity, people around me. But then I went to Paris with a friend, and on that trip, which is so weird, I was already into the style blogging and the lifestyle blogging. So I remember we were walking down, I think it was Rue Rivoli along the Louvre, and I made a comment and I said, this museum is very big because it takes like the entire stretch of the street. And she said, that's what Paris is about. It's about museums. I'm like, no, Paris is not just about museums. It's about culture. It's about food. It's about lifestyle. It's about style. There's something for every single person. But she felt that I disrespected her, let's say, like her passion for or her persona of what Paris was. And then from there, it went downhill. So we had a huge argument. We had a huge argument in the middle of Paris, like shouting at her lungs. But in that time, she said something that triggered me. And she said, like I knew what I wanted. I knew the lifestyle that I wanted to create because I already started that. But she made it seem as if I'm not worthy of that. And that triggered me. And I was like, no. So I responded. And after that, I cried. But in that moment, I realized, you know what? You no longer have to allow persons to tell you what to do. You have to stand up for yourself. I was like 26 at the time or something, or 29. I was 29 years old. And I never stood up for myself at all. Like I always used to do what persons told me to do. But that moment I said, no, I'm no longer going to fit myself in this box. I need to go beyond what I desire and really open myself up to that and accept that. And then from that space, like my business started to grow. I started to really reach out to brands. And then from there, I grew into a coach. I became so much more confident, so much more open. And it's so amazing. Like I was this very introverted girl who said nothing to anyone. And like right now, I just love talking to people.
I love that. But you can still keep a hold of a little bit of the introvert, can't you? Because I
Yes,
actually
yes,
am, believe it or
yeah,
not, quite an introverted person as well. Like I love spending time on my own, and
yes.
I'm very,
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy being alone with my thoughts, and too much, believe it or not, as well, because obviously I'm with people a lot of the time and
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by incredible women, but I do find that there's a limit to how much I can do of that, and then I have to kind
Mm-hmm.
of just retreat into
Yes, it's a
myself for
balance.
a little while. So I think it's nice to be a kind of mixture of, extroverted, but
Mm-hmm.
also be able to really enjoy your own space and company.
Yes. Yeah,
And
I love my home. I love staying home. Like I'm not someone
so
who
do
goes
I.
out all the time.
My
But when I
husband
go
is
out,
like literally getting some food,
yes.
maybe having a glass of wine, watching a movie,
Mm-hmm.
like on my own, with some
Yeah.
chocolates. Like that is my
Yes.
idea of absolute heaven. Okay,
Which
amazing. What an incredible moment then for you to be like, okay, this is changing. I am not letting anyone treat me like this, and
mm-hmm.
also then being able to go, I'm going to take that one step further, and I'm not going to let any woman that I know also feel like
Yes.
that or be treated like that also. So yeah, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So then, how did you know who your niche or who your dream clients were? How did you go about finding
Uh,
out what that
this
was?
one was very, very challenging. Because in the beginning, I started off as a personal development coach, right? So in the beginning, I thought it was just like putting up a website, putting up a business online and expecting persons to come to me.
Yeah.
But then I did a program, and one of the first things that they ask you to do is to really speak to other persons. So I challenged myself, and I held a bunch of interviews earlier last year, one-on-one with persons on the phone, just giving them advice. And I also walked around in my corporate job, and I asked persons questions. And then when I was building in the very initial phases, I noticed that the different women who were coming to me, they either were in a corporate job, or they were in a corporate job and they were just launching the business, or they were literally in the first stage. So it was a lot of market research, a lot of reaching out to persons and asking them, hey, would you like to come on a call with me, based on like what they're sharing in groups. So I'd literally like pay attention to what they were saying and then invite them on a call or ask them to fill out a questionnaire. And then I sat down and I analyzed all the responses to see what they are like, where exactly are they? What is the career path? And from that space, I was able to get so much more clarified and create something that would suit both those women without having to feel like, okay, I'm disconnected with my brand. So regardless of what I teach, it resonates with both the corporate woman as well as the woman who's just building her business.
Fantastic, excellent. And
Yeah.
when you're, starting your business, there is many,
Mm-hmm.
many struggles, and I think part of that struggle is your own self-negative talk sometimes.
Yes.
The doubt that can creep in and things like that. So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've actually had to overcome as a business owner and a coach as well?
Oh, that, jealousy, comparing myself to other persons,
Mm.
um, not like wanting the results one time. Like for me, in the very beginning, I would be in groups a lot on Facebook, and I would be questioning like, why is it working for her and it's not working for me? Like I'm doing the exact same thing. Like why is it not working? And then I started to be a little bit resentful towards that. I'm like, but it makes no sense. Like I must be missing something. And that was when I learned about, reframing my mindset and stop allowing myself to like compare myself to other person
Yeah.
and just like really focusing on me and my skills and my results. So what I would do, and I worked with one of the biggest things that I did was that last year I stopped doing everything for a while. I said, you know what? I'm investing a lot in business, but I'm not investing in myself, like in me personally.
Yeah.
So I stopped marketing. I stopped doing all the extra, busy stuff. And I enrolled in this program called Slim Chicken Savvy with Tonya Leigh. And it was a 10-week program. And after that, like it became so much better for me to like just go after my goals. Because it's all about you like shedding all the negativity, shedding all the baggage, and really allowing you to say yes to your desires. So that program really helps me. That was how I was able to like say like restart, hit the reset button all over again and focus on my gifts and my talents and my confidence. So it was hard in the beginning, but I think if every woman, like if you're experiencing any of those, like you're jealous of someone else or you're comparing yourself to someone else in your industry, I would say not invest in a business program at the moment because it's not the strategy, it's an internal thing that's going on. So take a step back and like really ask yourself, like, what am I missing for me? And then from that space, you really integrate, self-worth and confidence and loving you as well. Because if you're comparing, then there's a self-worth issue here. So that really helped me. And that was one of the biggest challenges. And the second one was not having money to invest. Like I had to take loans and my money mindset was still a little bit like iffy. So I was like guilty about investing in business coaching. But afterwards, I'm like, nah, now I can integrate everything that I'm learning because I'm now able to like move forward with so much more clarity and so much more confidence. And now it's only now I'm reaping the rewards. So it was very, very overwhelming in the beginning, but I think personally, just working on me and then seeing the bigger picture, that helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say
Yeah.
would be some tips for women that are out there who are desperate to begin to start their business, but they do have fears and doubts, and they maybe don't even know where to start? What would you say to
Yes.
them?
I would tell her, make sure that you're doing it for you. One of the reasons why I started was because I saw everybody else was doing it. And that was why I was going about it the wrong way. I was only focused on like building the strategy. But then when I really took a step back and asked myself, why do I want this? Like, what is the reason and the purpose behind this? So I would tell any woman who's starting off in the beginning, don't make it about like, I want to make this happen because I want more money. Like, what is the ultimate goal that you want? So look at it from a standpoint of where do I want to be 1 year from now? If when I got that clarity, I'm so happy that I did because when I'm looking back 1 year ago, I am so proud of all the women that I've worked with and
Yeah.
helping them. So if you can really understand like what is the real reason, and you have to ensure, there's one thing that I say a lot to my clients is that the first step to setting a goal or to manifesting or to like realizing the goal is ensuring that you're the motivational driver behind it 100%.
Yeah.
If you're not, then you're making it a very, very difficult journey. So step one should always be you want this because you're the motivational driver behind it. It's going to support you. And it's really in alignment with what you would really love to do, like your passion. It's not just a job. It's not just I want to make money. It has to be really something that you're connected to fully.
Yeah, 100%. Completely
Yeah.
agree. Completely agree there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are your plans? What is happening next for you?
So right now I am actually just launching my business program because I noticed that my clientele, they're now interested in growing the business. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been doing a lot of calls and it's been going very well. So I'm now launching my business program to help them like really work on them first and then build that system. And secondly, I just want to relax. I want to take a vacation. But I'm really excited because so far it's going very well. And one of the biggest goals that I have before the year ends is to build my own team. Like I have a VA right now, but I want to expand that team. So I think like when you're growing and when you take it to the next level, you need to have the support. And the support does not mean, getting another coach. It means ensuring that you're in high productive state, you're performing like very greatly, and you're not doing it on your own. So now I'm building my team and I'm launching the business program, and I'm very excited about that.
Fantastic. And tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about the Manifesting Your Desires course. That sounds Incredible.
So this course is it's a program that I created. Like I was sitting down on one day and I'm like how did I get here? Like what did I really do? So it's a goal setting course, but it's all about you putting yourself in this mental state where you're not just focusing on crossing out, to-dos. Like, in the beginning of the year when we start our year, we normally write down, I want to achieve this, 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 this. But the manifesting your desires course it's all about you like focusing in like what's the internal reason why you want that goal. And it's all about you also disintegrating. Like if I'm gonna tell you a very quick story, like when I started my self-transformation journey, it was 2012. And one of the things that I really wanted to get done was to go to Paris. And I used to literally put myself in a space for 2 years. Like I would go on Google Maps and take the little man and walk around as if I was there already. And at the time I couldn't afford it, but me putting myself in the space mentally and emotionally, like I would spend time at home with my wine, learn French language. I go to the French classes after work. This really helped me embody the goal so much more passionately. So the course is to help you really become passionate about your goals so much deeper, because if this is where you really get to understand, I want this because of me, not because someone else told me to have it, or not because I see someone else with it. So it's a disintegration program where you work on your mindset, you work on your emotion, you work on your wealth story, and then you actually take action, aligned action, to implement the goal, to manifest the goal, sorry. So I just really enjoyed it. It's very quick. I think any woman can go through it in like a week or so, but the more you go into it, you learn something new every single time.
Fantastic, incredible.
Yeah.
You are an amazing woman. Do you know that?
Thank you.
I just feel such a lovely warmth. Like, every time you speak, I'm hooked.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
It's a quality to have. It really is. So really exciting things to come from you then.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm excited.
Absolutely. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today, and thank you so much for joining me. Can you let me know where we can find you on this beautiful online space, please?
You could find me on my website, menelliavalcent.com. Everything is integrated there. So my Instagram is the same name, Menellia Valcent Coaching. My Facebook is the same name. But as long as you go to the website, menelliavalcent.com, you could find me everywhere from there.
Wonderful. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of the show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who has listened in to this recording today. I hope that you have taken some tips away, some motivation and some inspiration. And of course, if you want to find out about a little bit more about Menellia and what she does, you can just scroll down and all of her links are there. And of course, if you want to know a little bit more about Unstoppable and myself, Jen Hardy, then just underneath Menellia's info, I am also there too. So thank you for supporting this podcast show, and we look forward to bringing you the next episode. Bye.